Maybe if you beg, we'll think about killing you quickly.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. I don't know how to start this off other than I have been off for a minute. I can't really, don't have any excuses. Yeah, but let's get this review going, man. Today I'm gonna be talking about Metro 2023, the Redux version on Xbox. You know, that's what I played. That's what I'm gonna be talking about today. And let me just get into it and start this off. So Metro 2033 is an FPS survival shooter where you play as a character named Artyom, right? He's a Russian born in like the underground metro system after like nuclear fallout happened on the overworld. That's why they had to fall down to the underworld. And your story starts when you encounter a lone ranger named Hunter. And basically your encounter with Hunter, it leads to certain things that take you up on your journey to Polis. Hunter is from Polis, that's where the Spartans are, and you basically made a promise to Hunter to go to Polis, and that's how your journey begins. That's all there is to it. So the game, as it is, the game has great mechanics. I really like the gun mechanics and stuff like that, and since it's like a survival in this metro post-apocalyptic, I think, yeah, or mid-apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic world, there's a lot of things for you to do, so the game really gives you a lot of interactiveness in it. There's a lot of you can charge the energy source for your flashlight and stuff like that. I don't really know. I guess it's maybe like a motor that's running it, or a generator that you have to charge it over time and stuff like that. And you can wipe your gas mask clean, you can pull out a torch, you can pump an air gun. There's just a lot to do in the game, and I really like that aspect of it. The survival aspect is also really good. Like, the enemies are great, they're not too hard, the missions aren't they're not too puzzly or impossible, and especially with the enemies, I personally, I think the balance they went with for the enemies is really cool for this survival shooter type of game, where it does, depending on what weapon you're using, like rifles are probably the weakest weapons in the game. SMGs and rifles use basically the same type of cartridges, but then you have revolvers, which use revolver cartridges, which like, I guess 9mm or maybe 44 Magnum. I don't really know. They never specify. And shotguns, obviously, I'm pretty sure they use buckshot. Those cartridges, they kill enemies really well, really quickly, but they also come up in low amounts, which makes sense because shotgun pellets, and not pellets, but more like cartridges, buckshots, they're not just laying around. Same with like revolver ammunition. So those weapons which are, you find lower quantity cartridges, they take longer to kill. My main issue with this is that when you come to a moment in the game where there's a lot of people fighting, or not a lot of people, but there's a lot of enemies, you're fighting with a lot of enemies, you'll have people around you to help you. The game, you use a lot of ammunition basically, and it kind of ruins the balance. Like in game, when you're just alone scurrying around and stuff like that, it really makes you pay close attention to how resourceful you are. But in those hard stuck moments, those deep moments, it kind of, I feel like it would be fun to just forget about the resourcefulness at the moment and just shoot about a bunch. Maybe they could just give you like a bunch of cartridges lying around and stuff like that, which they did do. But even though they give you a bunch of cartridges and stuff like that, they're still, well, for me anyway, they will run out quickly. So like if you want to save cartridges and stuff like that, is basically just avoid fights and always aim for headshots. That is like any piece of advice I would give to someone who wants to go into this game guns blazing. Or maybe you can like lower down the difficulty. I don't know how that will affect you much, but yeah, all in all, if you're into that survival aspect, I don't really think this will phase you much. But in these moments, they weren't really a lot, but in these moments you will run out of cartridges, probably, for sure. Oh, and another thing I like about the levels and stuff like that, and since the story was based off a book, every level is more of like a chapter, right? I like how every level is different from the next. It really makes it feel unique, feel like its own part of the metro. Every level it shows you something different in the metro visually, and the way it's designed, and all of that stuff, and it kind of gives you a little bit of aspect to how this fallout affected the world and the people, and the people who are taking advantage of these things with certain things like political issues. There's literally an ongoing war in the metro while there's mutants and nuclear fallout preventing us from going to the overworld. People are still out here having wars, and it's really crazy. But I like that aspect of each level being different and being like its own thing. The story it's really good. Like I said, you meet Hunter, you make a promise to him, and then you travel to Poland through the metro. That is basically what the story is, and I really like the story. It's a great story, and kind of how it's just this straightforward route, or not route, but this straightforward objective. The story doesn't have like a lot of twists and turns of what do I have to do. It's literally just go here, so I have to go here, here, here. So the detours which you take through the story are really good, because the metro is like a railway, right? I think that's what a metro is, right? It's like a interconnected system of railways. So they're like a linear path, and having a linear story, like a linear objective, which you will have to take detours and other routes, kind of like how a train you can take detours and other routes. It really is cool, and I think it really just fits with how the game is and how it works. How every single moment you're just ever pushing forward like a real train would. I think that is just a cool aspect of the story that I really like, and it doesn't feel too much or anything like that. The story, it makes sense. You can keep up with it. It's nothing too crazy, like you have to really dig deep into it every single moment of interaction. It's literally like just listen to the cutscenes and stuff like that. You'll understand what's going on. You can follow along, and you can really like the characters. That's one of the things I like about this, is that every like set of characters that you usually have to hang about, I really like. Just like for every set, there will be Bourbon, the first character you kind of meet later on in the game, Khan and Miller. Those are the most notable. Those are the most notable characters I remember when I was playing the game. I really like all of them. I really like Bourbon. At first I was a bit spectacle about him, what type of character he would be, but he was always on go, and he really taught me a lot. Like in terms of what I learned in the metro, Bourbon is basically like he taught you a lot of stuff in the game, and he's a really cool character. I like Bourbon a lot. And also Khan and Miller are pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, they're really good, but Bourbon is my personal favorite. Alright, overall, this journey down to the metro, it had me spooked. I'm not gonna lie, there were moments I was scared, spooked, you know what I mean? Especially during the library missions. Other than the not being able to shoot back, the librarians not being able to fight back, when you reach down to the depository, you run out of filters. Like if you're not going quick, you're gonna run out of filters. And I was also like, I had to go quickly, but if you move quickly, you kind of draw more attention to yourself, which really just makes the level ever more like it makes it more intense. And it's a really cool level because it's one of those levels like before the end, so like building up tension before the end, and then everything kind of like goes together. It's really cool. I like that aspect about that depository mission. I really like that a lot. If I had to give the game any cons, any downsides, it'll probably be the voice acting. The voice acting isn't really the best. It's not convincing, not much. It does fit, but in terms of like maybe emotional moments and stuff like that, it doesn't really work. In between in-game dialogue between characters, it's fine. Like that doesn't really have to be realistic in most games like this, because although it is story driven, I don't think it's like a main aspect of the story. The survival FPS shooter is definitely the main driving aspect of the story, so the voice acting not being like very realistic is not a big issue for me. But it would be, if it was better in the cutscenes, that would definitely be like a bit better, I would say. And also the game did crash a few times. Before I bought the game, I also saw ratings where people would say that the game crashed a lot for them. For me, it crashed, I would say maybe like a total of 3 times. It wasn't really that much or consistent, like back to back. I think once. No, it wasn't back to back, but it would spread out through a few days because the game isn't really that long to finish, so you will feel it. But yeah, it is kind of like just I mean, it's a game crashing. It's what's the word? I don't know, but we don't like games crashing. But with all that being said and done, I would rate this game a 12.5 out of 16 on the way I rate games. That is how I would rate Metro 2023 Redux. It's a really good game. It's a cool game. You can follow along, survival shooter. I think a lot of people, anybody can play the game. If you like shooters, pick it up. Put it maybe on like a lower or less survival-y aspect. If you like survival aspect of it, it's really cool. And I expected this game to leave me alone a lot, because that's what I expect from survival games, to just leave you out there alone. But it has a good balance of leaving you alone, leaving you with someone else, and I really like that a lot. But yeah, that is all I have to say about Metro 2023 Redux, man. That is it for the review. After here is just a little yap session about what I have planned coming up next. Alright, man. I hope I'm not messing up the mic right now. I've been gone for a minute. Like I said, I don't really have any excuse for it. I can't lie. That's an L for me, but I do plan on coming back strong. Hopefully as consistent as I was when I left. I was posting, I think, around about 2 to 3 times a week. Far Cry, and then I switched to Watch Dogs. Doesn't really matter, but let me keep this short. I have a few more games reviews. I plan on reviewing the whole Metro series, so you can pick up, if this review made you feel like picking up 2033, you can watch out for the next one, Last Light, and then another one on Exodus. There is another game that I'm also planning on reviewing. So I just have a lot of reviews planned, and some of them ready technically, like I bought the games and stuff like that. What I really just don't know or have in mind yet is gameplay, and I do want to make gameplay. Like, I've kind of made reviews like the main aspect of my channel, and I want gameplay to kind of like sprinkle up in there so that you guys don't get bored waiting for another review. Also, I just have a lot of stuff I want to do. So if you guys have any suggestions of any games that you will want to see like gameplay of or something like that, write them down in the comments. I'm probably gonna put up a community post where I'll ask you guys if you have any suggestions of games to play, and I'll probably I'll look out for them and probably play them. But right now I would say just watch out for reviews most probably. But the thing about reviews is I have to finish the game. I have to play the game and finish it. So reviews will take a long time. That's why I want to make gameplays so that I can kind of like do 2 at the same time. I can play a game for a review, and then another game I'll like play a gameplay, upload it, play another gameplay like a bit later on. I'll just find a balance for it. Don't worry about that. It's just a game. I'll find a balance for it, and that's all I really have to say. Metro 2033 Review is out right now. CybertronAce is planning on coming back. But yeah, that is all I have to say for now, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like. You know, honestly, just tell me what you think about the video down in the comments. That's the main thing I really want to get right now is just feedback. So that's all I have for you guys, man. Peace out.